Hi, my name is Dr. Doug Jackson, and welcome to this second chapter in the Community Resiliency Model Overview Training. In this chapter, we're going to introduce the 3 core CRIM skills. But before we get to the CRIM skills, I want to introduce a note of caution. Now, in the videos where we talked about trauma and the autonomic nervous system, hopefully you remember that we talked about how when we experience a situation which is dangerous and emotionally overwhelming, our memory system can become disrupted. Hopefully you remember too that we've got 2 memory systems that have to integrate well for memory to work properly. There's a factual memory component, and that's really the conscious part that you remember, that you think of as being memory. And that part relies on all parts of the brain working well together. And in dangerous and emotionally overwhelming situations, that part of the memory system can become fragmented and discombobulated. The second part of the memory system, the sensation part of the memory system, works by the emotion part of the brain and the survival part of the brain working well together. And that system is beneath consciousness and works fine. Now, when our factual memory and our sensation memory become disconnected, we can experience events as being traumatic memories. I'd like to present an example of that so that you can better understand what a traumatic memory is and how it might come about. So here's an example of how a traumatic memory might be formed. Let's imagine a situation where a youngster is hit by a truck while that youngster is riding a bike, and it was a serious accident. Now, that youngster is aware of the fact that the accident happened. His parents told him about it. But the weird thing is, he doesn't have any particular memories of the event itself. He just has the fact that he was told that it happened. So, what might happen in the future for that person is that they might experience the sound of that truck braking. And I mean specifically of that truck braking, not just of any truck braking, but that specific sound memory. And that person might feel terrified. And here's the curveball. They don't know why they're terrified. Because their factual memory has become disrupted, they can't associate the fact of that truck braking sound with the terror. They're terrified and they don't know why. That's a traumatic memory. A memory that comes screaming right out of the blue because there's no context to associate with it. Factual memory isn't there. In this example, the sound of the truck braking was a trauma trigger. That has some important implications for us in presenting these trainings. We're about to present tracking as a skill, and most people, practically everyone that I've ever worked with, has absolutely no problem with learning tracking. But it is possible that while we are going through the tracking exercises, you might feel a sense of discomfort, terror, anxiousness, and intrusive memory that seems to be completely disconnected to watching this video. Now, when we do CRIM training live, we do it with 2 or 3 people so that there's the person who's presenting the material, that's me, but I'd also have some partners, some associates who are doing the training with me, who are watching the audience and watching for particularly outsized reactions to things that don't make sense. And in every CRIM training, we do this trauma trigger conversation, the one that we're having right now, so that people understand that if they are feeling uncomfortable with any exercise, they absolutely have our permission to step out and to take a couple of breaths. And usually one of the associate CRIM trainers we'll follow out into the hallway and check in to see whether the person's doing okay and process whatever we need to process. And we also have a list of resources that people can get in touch with if they feel like they're having a problem after the training. And that actually is going to be the very next thing that we present here. But I can't see whether you're having any problems or not with this training. Obviously, that's just not something that's possible in a video training. So, please, if in watching any parts of this video you were to start to feel anxious or uncomfortable or had an intrusive memory or just any sort of reaction that seems outsized and just not associated with watching this video, please stop watching the video. It may be that this video isn't appropriate for you to be reviewing right now. And that's fine. But consider getting in touch with some of the resources that are going to follow right now. Here are some resources that you can contact now if you're experiencing difficulties.